Listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you. Right now, at this very moment, Nigeria is preparing for war with Burkina Faso and the entire Sahel region. The Nigerian government has reached a breaking point, and the Alliance of Sahel States is ready to meet them head-on. For over a week now, the AES has refused to release 11 Nigerian military personnel detained in Burkina Faso. 11 soldiers, together with their military aircraft, remain locked behind Burkina walls, and the Sahel is showing absolutely no sign of backing down. Before we go any further into today's explosive developments, let me bring everyone up to speed on how this crisis began, because what started as a single aircraft incident has now become a potential continental war that could reshape the entire West African power structure. Earlier this month, Burkina Faso's military seized a Nigerian aircraft carrying 11 soldiers on board. The aircraft had violated Burkina Faso's sovereign airspace, force landing in Bobo Dioulasso without any prior authorization or notification to Burkina authorities. Now, here's where this story gets interesting. There had just been a coup attempt in the Benin Republic, and Nigeria, operating under what the Sahel calls France's direct orders, had dispatched multiple aircraft loaded with military personnel to Benin to help crush that coup. One of these Nigerian military aircraft violated Burkina Faso's airspace, and the AES military forces responded immediately and decisively. The aircraft was seized. The 11 Nigerian soldiers were detained by the Burkina armed forces, and that's where everything exploded. Nigeria's official story is that the plane made what they call a precautionary landing due to technical issues. A simple mechanical problem, they claim. Nothing to see here, just an unfortunate emergency situation. But Burkina Faso fired back with a response that cut through Nigeria's explanation like a hot knife through butter. Rules are rules, the Burkina government declared. What is a Nigerian military aircraft doing deep inside our sovereign airspace without permission? If they genuinely had technical issues, what prevented them from sending a distress message to Burkina Faso before entering the airspace? Why was there no communication? Why was there no authorization request? The Sahel leadership has been crystal clear on this point. Nigeria took advantage of the political chaos surrounding the Benin Republic coup to conduct espionage operations on behalf of their French masters. This was not an emergency landing. This was an act of calculated aggression and deliberate espionage. The technical issue story, according to the Sahel, is a massive, deliberate lie designed to cover up a spy operation. Now, many of you watching might be wondering, doesn't Nigeria have diplomatic relations with Burkina Faso? Why are these soldiers still being held if these nations supposedly maintain friendly ties? Yes, Burkina Faso withdrew from ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States. Everyone knows that. But there are still diplomatic channels between Burkina Faso and Nigeria, aren't there? Shouldn't those relationships matter in a situation like this? Here's what you need to understand. These Sahel nations didn't just leave ECOWAS politely. They left in anger. They left because they fundamentally rejected the entire system that ECOWAS represented. They're now doing their own thing, operating under their own rules, following their own sovereign path. And this aircraft didn't just wander into their airspace by accident, it violated their sovereignty without authorization. Everyone knows this. The timing is what reveals everything. Why did this incident happen precisely when there was political instability in the Benin Republic? Why did it occur during the exact same period as the coup attempt? Ask yourself that question. Something happened here that goes far beyond a simple technical malfunction. Something deliberate, something calculated, and that something is exactly why these 11 Nigerian personnel are still detained in Burkina Faso. If this aircraft had truly been traveling to Portugal or some other destination and experienced genuine mechanical problems, Burkina Faso would have conducted their normal security checks and allowed them to continue on their way. But something happened. Something that made the Burkinabe military decide these men needed to be detained and thoroughly investigated. Nigeria has refused to tell the world what actually happened. They're hiding behind their technical issue story, refusing to speak honestly about what their military was actually doing in Sahel airspace. The Burkinabe government has told the Nigerian government directly that they will not divulge their investigation findings publicly. They will not be pressured. They will not be rushed. But something serious went down, And that's the truth that everyone needs to understand. Even the Nigerian government knows this truth, which is exactly why they haven't taken an even harsher stance. They're being careful because they know what their soldiers were actually doing. Let me give you a piece of advice that Nigeria desperately needs to hear. Be very careful with these so-called small countries. Yes, you might think Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are small nations that can be pushed around, but Russia stands behind them. And I'm talking about the same Russia that the entire combined force of Europe and America is afraid of. You do understand that, right? The whole of Europe and America approaches Russia with extreme caution. Are you aware of this geopolitical reality? So Nigeria, in comparison, is like a piece of cake for them. Don't just assume that these Sahel nations stand alone. They have active collaboration with Russia. That is an established fact that changes the entire equation of this crisis. As we speak right now, those 11 Nigerian soldiers have not been released. The entire Western diplomatic machine is trying to force the Sahel's hand. Diplomatic talks are supposedly ongoing. Phone calls are being made at the highest levels. Meetings are happening behind closed doors in various African capitals. But Burkina Faso is not listening to any of it. The Sahel has erected what can only be described as an iron wall of silence. They have rejected every single approach, every phone call, every request to release these men without completing a full and thorough investigation. Many reports have circulated on social media and various news outlets claiming that the men have already been released. But the truth, the actual truth on the ground, is that all 11 Nigerian military personnel remain detained in Burkina Faso at this very moment. The AES is not releasing these suspected spies until the complete truth is uncovered and made public. The Sahel is taking all the time necessary to conduct deep, comprehensive investigations. They are not in any hurry whatsoever to release these 11 men, regardless of what threats Nigeria makes or what actions Nigeria takes. The message coming from the Sahel leadership is absolutely clear and completely unyielding. No country, no matter how large or how powerful they think they are, stands above our sovereignty. If these 11 soldiers are confirmed to be spies working for Nigeria, or if they have any connection whatsoever to terrorist attacks and destabilization operations in the Sahel region, they will face the full force of Sahel justice. The puppets will be crushed. The price for treason against African sovereignty will be massive and unforgettable. Nigeria is furious. Their government feels that the Sahel is deliberately dragging what should be a simple diplomatic issue into a major crisis. They believe this is unnecessary escalation, but from the Sahel's perspective, they are simply demanding justice, truth, and respect for their dignity as sovereign nations. Nigeria has become increasingly desperate as their diplomatic strategies continue to fail. Their phone calls about technical issues have fallen on deaf ears. Their diplomatic envoys have been rebuffed. And now, according to our sources on the ground, Nigeria is resorting to direct threats of military action. Multiple intelligence sources confirm that Nigeria has communicated that they will launch military strikes. If the 11 detained military personnel are not released by the end of this week, this is not merely posturing or diplomatic pressure. This represents an act of unforgivable aggression against sovereign African nations. Nigeria is already angry, feeling humiliated by the Sahel's refusal to bow to diplomatic pressure. They want the world to believe this is just a minor misunderstanding, a simple case of miscommunication that got out of hand. But Nigerian officials know the real truth. They know their personnel were caught attempting to conduct espionage operations serving French intelligence interests. Nigeria has already deployed multiple rounds of diplomats, sent urgent letters through various channels, made desperate phone calls to regional mediators. But the Sahel has stood absolutely firm on their position. They continue to insist that the technical issue explanation is a massive fabrication, and that Nigeria cynically took advantage of the Benin coup situation to conduct spy operations on the Sahel for their French masters. Here's what makes the Sahel's position so strong. They are not just powerful, they are unbreakable. They have no fear whatsoever of any military strike from Nigeria because they possess the combined joint military forces of the entire Alliance of Sahel States. This is not Burkina Faso standing alone. The military forces of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are now operating under a single unified command structure, An attack on one member nation is automatically considered an attack on all three nations. The AES military alliance is armed with modern equipment and advanced training provided by their strategic international partners. They are not facing Nigeria's military machine alone or unprepared. Burkina Faso has made their position absolutely clear to every diplomatic channel. They will detain these 11 Nigerian military personnel for exactly as long as it takes to complete their comprehensive investigation. The Sahel is not in any hurry to release these men, regardless of what military threats Nigeria issues or what actions Nigeria threatens to take. The Alliance of Sahel States is not detaining 11 Nigerian soldiers and seizing a military aircraft just for show or to make a political point. They are conducting serious, deep investigations designed to expose what they believe is an extensive spy network operated by France through its African puppet states, primarily Nigeria. Sahel military intelligence services are working day and night on this investigation. They are not listening to desperate diplomatic phone calls from Nigerian officials. They are focused entirely on uncovering the complete truth. The AES technical teams are analyzing the aircraft's flight data recorder, what's commonly called the black box, to completely expose what they view as Nigeria's lie about experiencing technical issues. They are working to prove that the flight path was deliberate, specifically designed to fly deep into Sahel territory to gather intelligence on military positions, government operations, and strategic infrastructure. The Sahel position is adamant and unchanging. If these 11 soldiers are confirmed as intelligence operatives working for Nigeria, or if they have any connection to terrorist attacks and destabilization campaigns in the Sahel, they will face the full weight of Sahel military justice. Nigeria's official explanation that the troops were simply heading to Benin for an anti-coup mission is, according to Sahel investigators, a massive lie that their investigation is systematically dismantling piece by piece. Think about the logical problems with Nigeria's story. Nigeria shares a direct land border with Benin Republic. They could have moved troops by road, by river, or by direct flight path. So why did they choose a longer, more complicated flight path that went through Burkina Faso's airspace? Why would they risk violating another nation's sovereignty when direct routes were available? And if this was truly a major coup response requiring military intervention, why were only 11 military personnel deployed? 11 soldiers cannot stop a coup. This is what the Sahel calls unbreakable proof of espionage operations. The investigation is specifically examining how Nigeria took advantage of the political instability and chaos in Benin Republic to execute their spy mission under the cover of coup response operations. The timing of this unauthorized flight directly corresponds with the political crisis, which Sahel investigators say confirms this was an act of calculated treason against African sovereignty. The clock is ticking down, and the entire African continent is holding its breath, watching this crisis unfold. Nigeria has issued what they're calling a final ultimatum. Intelligence sources confirm that if the 11 military personnel are not released by the end of this week, Nigeria will transition from diplomatic threats to actual military action. Nigeria's comprehensive diplomatic efforts to secure the release of what the Sahel calls 11 captured spies have resulted in total and complete humiliation. This diplomatic failure proves that the old colonial system of puppet control is completely dead in the Sahel region. Nigeria has deployed every single tool in its extensive diplomatic arsenal, and every single approach has failed when confronted with the iron will of the Alliance of Sahel States. Nigeria's only remaining card to play is the threat of military strikes, but this detention crisis has proven something even more significant. ECOWAS is completely powerless against the Alliance of Sahel States. If this crisis had occurred just a few years ago, ECOWAS would have immediately issued comprehensive sanctions, delivered stern ultimatums, and made massive threats of intervention. Now, in this new African reality, ECOWAS is silent and utterly irrelevant. The regional body knows that any attempt to intervene on Nigeria's behalf will be met with absolute rejection and potentially military retaliation from the AES alliance. The detention of these 11 suspected spies confirms the moral high ground that the AES occupies. They are protecting their sovereignty against what they characterize as an illegal invader conducting espionage for France. How can ECOWAS possibly defend a nation caught in the act of treason against its African neighbors? The Sahel has created an entirely new political reality in West Africa. The old colonial structures of regional control have become irrelevant and powerless. The message is clear and uncompromising. No country stands above our sovereignty. The final humiliation for Nigeria is that the iron cage remains locked and sealed. Despite all the threats, despite all the desperate diplomatic maneuvering, those 11 Nigerian military personnel remain detained in Burkina Faso. The AES is demanding complete justice. They are not in any hurry to release these 11 men regardless of Nigeria's mounting panic. The investigation must be completed in full, and the complete truth about what the Sahel characterizes as France's spy operation using the Benin coup as operational cover must be revealed to the entire world. The deadline is approaching at the end of this week, and the Alliance of Sahel States is standing absolutely firm. This detention of 11 Nigerian military personnel has become the flashpoint for what could explode into a continental military conflict, forcing Nigeria to make a final choice between war and total diplomatic humiliation. The entire world is watching this confrontation unfold. This detention crisis is not about a single aircraft or 11 individual soldiers. This is about the final battle between two completely opposing visions for Africa's future. The Sahel is ready to fight. They possess the combined joint military forces and the iron will that comes from genuine patriotism and the defense of sovereignty. They will retaliate massively against any military strike from Nigeria. Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the other AES leaders are not compromising on anything. Their demand is simple and unbreakable: justice and sovereignty above all else. The deep investigation will continue for exactly as long as necessary. The Sahel will not be rushed or intimidated by the threats of what they view as a puppet state. The truth about this espionage mission and its direct links to French intelligence operations must be fully revealed. If these 11 soldiers are confirmed as spies, they will face the full force of Sahel justice. This is the price for using the Benin coup as cover to destabilize Africa's sovereignty revolution. The claim that the aircraft experienced a technical issue has become the final symbol of Nigeria's shame in this crisis. The Sahel is demanding that Nigeria publicly admit their actual mission and their crime against African sovereignty. This is the final unyielding truth that the world must accept. The Alliance of Sahel States has fundamentally redefined what African sovereignty means in practice. The detention of these 11 Nigerian military personnel and the seizure of their aircraft stands as ultimate proof that African dignity is not negotiable under any circumstances. The Sahel is not afraid of Nigeria's military threats. They have the combined joint military forces of the entire AES, ready to retaliate with overwhelming force. An attack on Burkina Faso automatically becomes an attack on Mali and Niger. Nigeria is threatening a massive continental conflict just to protect 11 captured intelligence operatives. The Sahel stands on unbreakable moral high ground. They are defending their sovereign airspace and their national dignity against what they characterize as an illegal invader conducting espionage. Nigeria would be fighting to protect a lie and a spy network serving foreign interests. The Sahel is not in any hurry to release these 11 men. Regardless of what actions Nigeria takes, the investigation will continue for exactly as long as necessary to ensure complete justice. If these 11 soldiers are confirmed to be spies working for Nigeria, or if they have any connection to attacks and destabilization in the Sahel, they will face the full force of justice. This detention has become the greatest symbol of Africa's second independence. It is the powerful message that the Alliance of Sahel States is sending to the entire world. No country stands above our sovereignty. The age of puppet states bullying their neighbors is completely over. Treason will be punished. Those who conduct espionage for France and Western powers will be caught and held fully accountable. The Sahel is ready for war if that's what Nigeria chooses. The iron will of the people will defeat any puppet military. The power shift is complete. The iron cage remains shut and the unyielding power of the Sahel has won.